Welcome to this video tutorial about Xmapedit, an unofficial and updated version of Xmapedit. You have all the resources in the video description. I advise you to download my manual. It's a zip file containing a PDF, screenshots, and other cool stuff. Time to cover the sprite. So a sprite may be a jar, ammo, an enemy, a weapon, and so on. Basically, a sprite is an actor, so to speak, and it's involved in decoration, weaponry, player stats, enemies, ammunition, and miscellaneous markers that are used in Blood. Basically, you can work with sprites in 2D mode and 3D mode, and as usual, I give you the full list of all the things I'm going to cover. Just take your time, don't rush, and enjoy the experience. A sprite is represented in 2D mode as a cyan circle with a line which indicates its angle. And to insert a sprite, you press S. Also, you can insert sprites on an existing sprite, just like this. It's actually no use, but I just wanted to let you know anyways. And in 3D mode, it's the same thing. I press S, and there you go. I've placed at this moment 2 sprites, and as you can see, they show the default gray brick texture, which is the number 0. And this will apply unless unless you've copied another different texture or a predominant texture exists. I've inserted these sprites because I want to tell you some things. You can see that most of the sprites always look at you. As you can see, this one, okay, it's always looking at you. And also, if I point at it, I can see like a small white arrow that indicates it's where this sprite is looking at. Also, you can find this kind of sprites which are animated, and also some sprites have more than one face. And for each of them, you can see that white small arrow that indicates where the sprite is looking at again. And also, this is an Xmapedit feature. If there are any sprites with a voxel, the map editor will show it. At the moment, and I need to stress this, at the moment, you only can see the vanilla voxels in the map editor. You can change the sprite position anytime. For example, in 2D mode, I place the mouse cursor on the sprite, I make sure it's highlighted, and then I press and hold the left mouse button. Just like this. Also, I can change the grid resolution and do the same thing. Okay. Of course, if I'm interested, I can deactivate the grid locking and move the sprite freely. Of course, I can do the same thing in 3D mode, and the operation is the same. You see? I can do once more the same thing on walls, even on floors, for example. Just 1 second. And do the same on floors, and the same goes for ceilings. So you can see it. it's, very handy. And just as a note, this wasn't possible in the good old Xmapedit. Well, I want to show you a few things. One thing is that you can use a grid resolution in 3D mode. In other words, right now I have the grid resolution number 1, so I can change it in 3D mode by pressing Shift G, you see? And if I do it here and I go back to 2D mode, it's affected in the same way. All right, now, yes, sorry. You can move up and down a sprite by pressing page up or page down. You can place a sprite on the floor by pressing Control page down, or in the ceiling by pressing Control page up. And sometimes it's very useful to select a bunch of sprites and move them at the same time. For example, yes, let me delete these sprites. Perfect. I insert a few of them. And let's suppose that I want to work with this with these sprites at the same time. So I can select them in 2D mode, just like this. Or I can select them in 3D mode with the middle mouse button. And then I can press page up or page down, you see? And the same goes for placing the sprites on the floor or in the ceiling. You see? Very easy to do. And also, if you want to do these operations maybe with the mouse, you need to press and hold the right mouse button, and then you press the left mouse button and you aim. You just look up and down, and the sprites, will go up and down. Well, here goes the tricky part. To rotate a sprite, you press period or comma. You just place the mouse cursor on a sprite, you make sure it's highlighted, and you see, it's very easy. About the tricky part, of course, this isn't tricky at all, but I was talking about something completely different. In Extended Xmapedit, we have two concepts. One is the sprite orientation, and the other one is the sprite angle. Okay, the sprite orientation is this, but the sprite angle is this one, and you can know it because there's a note in the upper left corner of the screen, you see? So why do you need to know this? Because some sector types need some adjustments with the sprite angle, okay? So just be careful, okay? Also, there's another thing that I want to cover with you. For example, let's suppose that I have a bunch of sprites and I want to rotate them at the same time. And of course, with Extended Xmapedit, I can do it. Let's review the Xmapedit Spritecast. So as you can see, there are like a lot of sprites, and I'm going to describe each of them for you. The cyan sprites with thick lines have the block flag, okay, and to apply this block flag you press B, either 2D mode or 3D mode. Then we have the magenta sprite, and this indicates the sprite has the hit scan sensitivity flag. You apply it by pressing H, no matter if you're in 2D mode or 3D mode, okay. Then we have this sprite with 4 lines and indicates it's a wall sprite. The longest line, so let me zoom in, okay. So like I was saying, the longest line indicates its current sprite orientation. And to make one of these sprites, you press R, no matter if you're in 2D mode or 3D mode, okay? And you'll convert it into a wall sprite. Also, you can press 1, either 3D mode or 2D mode, to make it one face sprite. For example, let me activate this, and there we go. This indicates this sprite is a one face sprite. Then we have another sprites to review. There we go. The next one is the square sprite that you can see on the screen, okay? And it's a floor or ceiling sprite. And to make one of these, you press R in 2D mode or 3D mode. And now we have this other kind of, yeah, it's a square sprite, but it has like an asterisk. It looks like an X, but I believe it's an asterisk. Yeah, it's an asterisk. And it's inside. Okay, it's just inside this square area. And basically, this is a slope sprite. And it's only exclusive for Nblood, okay, the port Nblood. And I want to show you how it looks. Here I made like a quick 3D model, so to speak, and this is how the sloped sprites looks like. And trust me, this is very useful to make very interesting models. Okay, so let's go back here. There we go. Now, these blue and green sprites are sprites marked for movement. And for that, you press key. The blue one moves in a particular direction and green moves in reverse. So basically, for example, let's suppose that this sprite, the blue one, is moving up, so this green one will move down. Okay. Here we have, yeah, it's a gray sprite, and it indicates it's invisible while playing in Blood, but you can see it in Xmapedit. Okay. And for making a sprite invisible, you press I, either 2D mode or 3D mode, to render the sprite invisible. And now here we have a tag sprite. And this indicates that it has some settings applied. And as you can see, this is a torch. If I go to 3D mode, yeah, it's a torch. It's not activated at the moment, but yeah, it's a torch. You can change the sprite texture. Okay, so I understand that this gray texture isn't appealing at all. And well, here I already show you that, you know, this sprite, this sprite model, so to speak. And I changed the textures, and basically it works like working with textures on walls, ceilings, or floors. Okay, So what you have to do is to point at the sprite, then you press V, and the map editor will show you the menu with all the sprites applied, with all the textures, sorry, applied to sprites. Then what you have to do is to press V again, okay, and then you choose the texture you want. And also, if I press G, I can go to a specific tile number, for example, 19. This one, text subjects. And then I press enter, and of course, the editor acknowledged the change. Also, I can modify the sprite size by pressing numerical pad 2, 4, 6, and 8. I can also change the sprite size by pressing numerical pad 7 and 9. 7, it does this, and with 9, it does this thing. See, I believe this way of changing the sprite size is very useful, especially when you want like the perfect size for the sprite. As you know, you can apply colors to the textures. For example, for this sprite, I press Alt P, and Extend Xmapedit asks me to introduce a value. For example, I introduce the number 10. I press enter, and there you go. Also, I can press Shift P and cycle through all the colors available in the palette. And as you know, we only have 14 colors at the moment. Okay. Also, I can go to the texture menu, and then if I press Alt P and I introduce a value, I can see how the textures will look with a specific color. I want to duplicate this sprite 5 times, so I have 6 in total. Of course, I can repeat this process 5 times, but you've realized this isn't efficient at all, because I'm wasting time. So the logical thing to do here is just to copy and paste sprites, to duplicate them. First, I select them, then I press insert, I move them, I select these ones too, insert again, and now I have 6 sprites. But there's still a small problem, because if I'm not if there's no problem with this with the position of the sprites, then okay, it's all right. But while mapping, it's very important to place the sprites properly. Okay, so doing this in 3D mode, perhaps it's not the best way. Okay, so I want to show you another way to do it in 2D mode, which is basically the same thing. So just 1 second, I changed degree resolution, there you go. And now I select this sprite, with right shift, or even with the middle mouse button, insert, sorry, there you go. There you go. And I place them this way. And now if I go to 3D mode, all of them are in the same position and looking where I want to. Okay. Also, I just want to show you the last thing. If you press tab and then you press S, you can make as many copies of the sprite as you want. I changed my mind. I want 2 sprites. So what I have to do is to press delete. I mean, place the mouse cursor on a sprite. I make sure it's highlighted and delete. I press the delete key. Also, you can do the same thing in 3D mode until I have only 2 of them. There we go. You can change the sprite transparency. You just point at the sprite you want to make transparent, and then you press T. There are only 3 translucency types, okay? No transparency, kind of, let's say, 50% transparency and 10% transparency. To shade a sprite, you place the mouse cursor on a sprite, and then you press a numerical pad minus. And to make it bright, you press numerical pad plus. And as you can see, it goes like 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. So if you want to go, let's say, one by one, you just press shift numerical pad plus and minus. Very easy. Also, control numerical pad plus and minus set the maximum and minimum shading. So control numerical pad minus, control numerical pad plus, and if I want to reset the shading, I press numerical pad 0. And as you can see, it's reset. Now I'd like to talk about well, I want to talk about the light bulb, okay, which is a feature that controls the ray casting process, and it allows you to make the whole map brighter. So this concept is related to the engine rendering, and of course you can set up the presets, and for that you need to refer to the manual and go to 1.2 installing and setting up Xmapedit, and then you move to light bulb. The light bulb has another name, which is the shade equalizer, and to use it you press L. Now, I'm not going to show you how this works because I don't want Xmapedit to crash right now. I'm recording this video, so I don't want to, how can I put this? I don't want to press my luck. Okay, so suffice to say that the light bulb or shade equalizer is intended just to light up rooms, and that, as I've said, it may crash Xmapedit. So I don't recommend using this tool. Okay, just telling you because you may come across this feature. Okay, so I just wanted to let you know what is this thing. Okay, and if you don't want to, if you don't want to follow my advice, then use it at your own risk. We have 2 sprites, and as you can see, the floor sprite is like on top of this weapon. Doesn't look very good. But fortunately, I can fix it, kind of, okay? Because from my understanding, Build has some problems with rendering flat sprites. But I can fix it to a certain extent by pressing E, and then I introduce 1023. why did I introduce this value? Because the values that the mappers need to use are those between 256 and 1023. But personally, I recommend to use 1023 because we have blood fresh supply, and the modders will use lower status values. You can tilt sprites. In other words, you can make slopes with sprites. I can't stress this enough, but this feature, only works in Nblood. If you don't believe me, you can load this map in Vanilla Blood, okay, and then you will see no tilt sprite whatsoever, okay. So in order to make one of these wonderful sprites, insert sprite, you press R twice, and there we go. You have a special menu to select the most important and commonly used sprites. In order to call this menu, I press Alt S, or if I want to do it in 2D mode, I press Shift S. I want to cover all these things in 3D mode, okay, so Alt S, and then I have different categories. For example, enemy. It displays all the enemies in blood, okay, including plasma pack, of course. Then we have weapon for all the weapons in blood, ammo, the same thing, item, almost the same thing, because we have extra items that weren't used in vanilla blood. For example, the asbestos armor or the gas mask, or even the key 7 that is commonly used in Death Wish. I hope you know what Death Wish is. Also, we have Hazard, and of course we have like extra types with extended Xmapedit. Yeah, this one is life leech turret, but I'm not going to show you this right now. Okay, I'm just reviewing the content. We have miscellaneous, which is for sprites, some flammable trees, and other cool sprites. And then we have marker, just for, of course, inserting some special sprites that are basically markers, okay, including sound sprites that, again, I'll going to cover in another video, okay. And then we have favorites. If I click, the program says there is no favorite tiles yet, sorry, and I can make favorite sprites. I press V again, and for example, I want I don't know, I want to make this sprite favorite because I'm going to use it a lot in my map. Okay, so I press F, and then the program asks me a name or an ID of sprite type. So I can leave this name, okay, or I can insert a sprite type. Doesn't matter, okay. So I just press enter. Tile 53 added as type 0, and then press OK. And if I go to my sprites menu and then I go to faves, it's there. Okay, and I can insert it. Also, if I don't want to have some sprites in favorites, okay, I don't want to have it here where I have to do just to sorry, faves. I press F. Remove this tile from the favorites. Yes. And then if I go faves, there is no favorite tiles yet. So this is how the uh, the faves feature works. Okay. We have modern types, and these sprites will be covered in other videos. Okay. And we have to conclude the prefab section. And there's a whole video dedicated for prefabs, okay? So you can go to that video and watch it, or even you can go to the manual because it's covered there too. To see and set up sprite attributes, you need to place the mouse cursor on the sprite and then you press F6. You see, it's very easy. And also I can do the same thing in 3D mode. F6, and there you go. And this is the end of the video. Leave your comments, send your feedback if you wish, and more than anything, have fun mapping for blood. Thank you very much, and have a good one.